Okay, so today is day one of you becoming that girl version of yourself. You know, the version of yourself who is absolutely confident. She loves herself. She can wear whatever she wants because she loves what she sees in the mirror. And the version of yourself who doesn't really restrict only 2 weeks before her holiday just because she realized way too late that, her holiday was coming up and she doesn't like how she feels in her body, because that's just not the vibe that we are going for this year. It's 2025. We do not have time for restrictive diets. We do not have time not to eat carbs or skip out on dessert, because we deserve it all. We deserve to enjoy life, and we deserve to also see jaw-dropping results. And today I'm going to be teaching you how to do just that without having to go on another restrictive diet yet again, just because you're panicking before your holiday. Oh, and by the way, this is only week one of my 5-week series on how to become that girl version of yourself before summer across all of my social media platforms. So if you're interested in finding out more tips, make sure that you click the description and check out all of my socials. And in case we haven't met yet, hi, my name is Heini, and I am your favorite no BS women's wellness coach who is here to teach you exactly how to get jaw-dropping results without restriction, without having to go on BS diets or do HIIT workouts or do cardio every single day, because I'm just not about that life. I've done it for way too many years of my life, and I want to teach you better ways. Okay, I want to teach you how to exactly become that girl version of yourself who is just effortlessly fit, who's confident, who's comfortable, and who's showing up as her highest future self, because you deserve it. You're amazing and you deserve it. So it's so nice to have you here. Let's get straight into today's video on how to actually fuel yourself like that version of yourself instead of having to go on yet another diet 2 weeks before your holiday because you realize that you don't actually love what you see in the mirror and you don't actually love how you feel in your body. Let's start early. Let's be smart about it this year. And I want you to actually learn from my mistakes, because I am a recovering chronic dieter, okay? For basically over a decade of my life, I was consistently on a diet. I went on my first diet when I was only 11. Yes, shocking, I know. I was a gymnast and I started at the age 10 and a half. And my gymnastics coaches basically just bullied me into going on a diet because they didn't think that I fit the mold of what a gymnast was supposed to be like. So from the age of 11, basically up until probably like 21, 22-ish years, I have gone on all the diets that you can name. Literally name any diet in the comments. I've tried it. I dare you to try and find a diet that I've never tried before, seriously. But I basically am a recovered chronic dieter, and I have also recovered from an eating disorder that was caused by the chronic dieting. So, your girl knows what she's talking about. And after my recovery, I have also helped over 300 women transform their bodies and their lives without having to ever skip out on carbs and desserts. So yeah, those are my credentials, basically. And I want you to learn from my mistakes. I want you to literally learn from my mistakes, because I feel like, especially as women, we love to yap about things because that's how we learn. And I am a certified yapper, okay? I'm a certified yapper, and I'm here to dish all of my mistakes that I've made in the past, because I want you to actually understand where I'm coming from and what mistakes not to make this coming summer. Starting with mistake number one, which is leaving it way, way, way too late in the summer to get started on my journey. And for some reason, I don't know why, like in my head, I always thought that this was like a temporary phase. Like summer was temporary. Obviously it's temporary, but it always comes around every single year. And every single year I would get to a point where I was 2 weeks before a holiday that me and my family have booked, or I have booked with the girls, and I would literally just feel absolutely crap in my skin. I have not been taking care of myself. I have not been taking care of my nutrition. I have not been eating well, basically. And it would come to that point where we were 2 weeks away from my holiday, and I would look in the mirror, try on my bikinis, and I was like, ooh, this is not a vibe. Like, I do not like this. So what I would do in the past is I would literally just like go on the most restrictive diets that would promise the biggest results. And when I tell you that they did not work, I'm not lying, okay? Like, they might have worked with regards to losing weight, but weight loss and fat loss are majorly different. They are different things. Weight loss literally just means that you're dropping weight on the scale, whereas fat loss means that you're actually toning up. And that girl version of yourself is not focused on the weight, okay? That girl version of yourself is focused on a body composition. Because let's be real, if you had to choose between weighing a certain amount or looking a certain way, you would probably choose looking a certain way over weighing a certain amount, because your weight does not not matter, okay? Your weight does not tell anything about your body. It literally is just your mass against the ground. And that is something that I didn't realize. So I would go on all of these diets trying to lose as much weight as possible. I would ramp up my cardio, trying to burn as many calories as possible, and I would literally burn myself out, which resulted in me being groggy and cranky during our holidays and just not being fun to be around. And the weight would always come up and I felt guilty. So that is mistake number one. Don't leave it too late. Start now. Literally, this is day one. As I said in the beginning of this episode, this is day one of you becoming that girl version of yourself who is confident AF and who is showing up as that version of yourself who loves wearing a bikini during summer and who doesn't have to restrict just 2 weeks before a holiday that she's booked and she knew for about 3 to 6 months that is coming up. Mistake number two that I made was obviously choosing a restrictive diet. I would literally go too hard too fast, and this is something that I see so many women also make. Like, most of my clients actually tell me that, they want to lose weight fast. 100% get it. But here's the thing, the faster you lose that weight and the more unsustainable that method is, the more unsustainable your results are going to be. The moment you go into a 1,200 calorie deficit and the moment you literally just restrict your carb intake, yes, you might lose weight, but the moment you then come off that diet, you are going to regain that weight and feel guilty, okay? We do not want that. We do not want to be a part of that yo-yo cycle that we've been a part of every single year for the past 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years, This year we are making things different, okay? I don't want you to go too hard too fast. Make sure that it's gradual. And as I said, give yourself enough time. That is literally what it's all about. Giving yourself enough time and gradually becoming that person, that version of yourself. Because if you go too hard too fast, you're basically doing something that your body, first of all, does not need. You're going to ramp up your cortisol levels, and you're also just going to run yourself into the ground, burn yourself out, and literally feel like crap during your holiday because, yeah, you might have lost a little bit of weight, but the moment you go for a meal out, you are going to look like a deflated balloon in a bikini, and we don't want that. And yes, I am calling you out here because I just don't want you to make the same mistakes as I did. Make sure that you're giving yourself enough time to actually feel ready and feel absolutely amazing in your skin. And by the way, a little disclaimer here, that girl version of yourself doesn't only do temporary things, right? That girl version of yourself improves her lifestyle, not just her body composition, but her lifestyle. So make sure that you focus on that. And you are going to be a work in progress. And I think that is one of the most wonderful things in the world, that you are a work in progress and this whole life is a learning curve. So the next 5 weeks of us being together on this journey, I want you to take this as a learning opportunity, and I want you to learn about yourself besides obviously becoming that girl version of yourself. And when we come to the end of the 5 weeks, you can literally just come back to step number one, which is nutrition, and you can start over again from a slightly elevated point. So you can go through this whole 5-step process super, super easily, basically as many times as you want to, in order to become an even better version of yourself. Because when I tell you, like, the goal isn't to be shredded for summer, the goal is to have a sustainable method that is going to keep you going for the rest of the year and that you can sustain, that you can stick to all year round without, falling off track and feeling guilty. That is what it's all about. Like, this process works because I've done it several times and I taught it to my clients. But anyways, I digress. Let's look at mistake number 3 that I have made, which was thinking that just going on a diet is going to solve all of my problems, that losing weight was going to solve all of my problems, when the reality was that it didn't, okay? It didn't. Your confidence is not tied and should not be tied to how your body looks. Your confidence should not be tied either to your weight, because no one actually cares about that. No one actually cares about your weight. And for a long, long time, I actually associated my weight with my identity and with my worth. But I had to realize the hard way that it's just, it's just not how things work. I used to weigh 63 kgs and I looked like a deflated balloon. I am now weighing 5 kgs more, probably like 5, 7 kgs more. I fluctuate between like 68 and 70 kgs, and I look a lot leaner. So this is another thing that I want you to sort of think about. is that you shouldn't attach your worth and your confidence to your weight. You should attach it to your habits and to your identity and who you are, and getting clear on that. So do not make the mistake that I made in the past several times, that you think that you're just going to start this diet and it's magically going to transform your whole life. Because if you start a diet that you cannot stick to for the rest of your life, it's not even worth starting that diet, because it's not going to give you results that are going to last. So instead of focusing and obsessing over your weight, focus on the habits that girl version of yourself is doing when it comes to nutrition. So let's talk exactly about that. What are these habits that you have to focus on? Because for me, what actually made the biggest difference is shifting my focus away from how my body looked, away from what I weighed, to obsessing over my habits when it came to nutrition. Because nutrition is going to be the number one thing that's going to drive whether you lose weight or gain weight, and also how you look. So I had to come to a realization that this constant restriction and then falling off track because I just couldn't stick to the plan was basically doing more damage than good to my body. And in the long term, it is going to do a lot of damage to your body. Your metabolism is going to slow down if you stick to these low calorie diets. You are going to develop food labels in your head that is going to then lead to disordered eating habits and demonizing foods, when the reality is that all foods are foods that you can have, except for food that is moldy, that has gone off, food that you're intolerant to or allergic to. Obviously, these are the only things that I would never, ever tell you to have. But all foods are foods that have their own space and own place in your diet. So when it comes to becoming that girl version of yourself, what it should all be about is not the actual diet that you follow, but rather how can you elevate what you're already doing right now to align your nutrition and eating habits with that goal. And that was, I feel like, the biggest mindset shift, because to be fair, everything starts with your mindset when you are becoming that girl version of yourself, right? It definitely does start with how you show up and how you think about your progress, because your progress isn't going to happen just because you're motivated. It's not going to happen just because you are obsessed over this, goal weight that is in mind. Your progress is going to happen and results are going to happen the moment you start focusing on your habits and obsessing over being super consistent with your habits. Progress happens when you put in the action and when you put in the work and when you take the steps necessary in order to make that progress to happen. Progress is literally a side effect of you showing up just a little bit better every single day. So when it comes to your nutrition, if you want to go on another diet, please don't. Focus on how you can elevate what you are doing already. How can you add in more vegetables? How can you add in more protein? And how can you make sure that you're learning about yourself with regards to your nutrition habits? How can you make sure that you are literally just understanding where you are now and where you want to be? And how can you bridge that gap between the two? And as I said, the first step here is to really just realize that food is not the enemy. Certain foods are not your enemy. They're literally fuel, and they're literally there not just as fuel, but also to make you feel great in your skin. Like, I literally tell all of my clients all the time, food is not just fuel. Yes, we should focus on it as if it was fuel. Yes, because we need it for our workouts. We need it to be able to have energy, and we need it to balance our hormones. But food is also there to be enjoyed. And it is a crucial part of our cultural and social infrastructures in life. So food should be also there to be enjoyed. And the good thing is that you can tie the two in together, right? You can tie in healthy eating and eating according to your goals with also enjoying the foods that you're eating and the meals that you're eating. So it all starts with that mindset shift of just taking a step away from being obsessed with like a certain diet or a certain way of eating and looking at what you like to do at the moment and starting from there. What I would do afterwards is literally just start tracking your food. I know that there are so many wellness girlies out there who are like, no, food tracking is not healthy. It is honestly a really, really good way to learn about yourself. It is going to literally put a mirror in front of you and show you exactly what you are doing at the moment so you can highlight the areas where you can improve. And what I want you to do for this is a really, really easy step-by-step process. First, download MyFitnessPal, not sponsored. Please sponsor me, MyFitnessPal. I've been using it for over a decade. Download MyFitnessPal or any other tracking app. And instead of following the guidelines that they give you, because it's just a generic information, literally just start putting in every single thing that you're eating at the moment into the app. I want you to log everything that has calories in there. I want you to log what you're eating, what you're drinking, so you have a better idea of what goes into your body at the moment for about 7 days. Okay, start with 7 days. For the next week, literally until the next episode of Becoming That Girl Before Summer series comes out on the podcast, make sure that you are just literally tracking your food without changing anything. Disregard any targets that the app gives you, and then have a little revision. Take a little look at it. Take a little look of like how many calories total you had, how much protein you had, how much veggies you had, how much fiber you had, how much water you drank, and analyze it. See where you have room for improvement. If at the moment you are literally only eating fats and carbs and they're all processed foods, let's improve that. See where you have room for improvement. If at the moment you are literally only eating fats and carbs and they're all processed foods, let's improve that. Let's focus on eating a little bit more protein, because protein is going to be literally your best friend. If at the moment you have a certain food, a certain meal that you always go back to, and it maybe isn't in line with your goals of, let's say, dropping body fat and toning up for summer, because to drop body fat, you have to be in a calorie deficit, and maybe this is a very highly processed food that has a lot of calories, how can you improve it? How can you add an extra protein? How can you add an extra volume and reduce the caloric amount within that meal? That is where it's all at. And then from then onwards, all you have to do if you are currently trying to tone up for summer, because that girl version of herself is toned and freaking confident and is effortlessly fit, what I want you to do is literally just set up a sustainable calorie deficit that is 200 to 400 calories below what you're eating right now. And take the same meals that you're having, okay? Take the exact same meals that you're having and swap out a couple of things, plug and play with a couple of different things so you can increase your protein intake to be around 120, 140 grams of protein, increase the amount of vegetables that you're having to have 2 fist-sized portions of veggies, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because that girl version of yourself goes to the bathroom regularly to do a number 2. Yes, I know it might sound like TMI, but poop is great. Poop is poop is natural. We need to poop. We need to get rid of the toxins, right? That girl gets rid of the toxins. She doesn't do a cleanse. She does, just regular bowel movements. And then afterwards, look at how you can basically improve the quality of the foods that you're eating. Step number 3 would be follow the 80-20 rule. Literally just focus on having 80% whole and minimally processed foods and 20% whatever the hell you want, as long as it fits your calorie targets and your protein targets that you have set out for yourself, okay? Because that is going to introduce some more fun in your life while also nourishing your body, okay? We want to basically nourish ourselves 80% of the time with foods that are absolutely amazing. By the way, if you don't know where to start with healthier meals that have high protein amounts, you can literally just send me a DM on Instagram with the word protein, and I'll send you a recipe pack, a high protein recipe pack with absolutely amazing, incredible recipes that you can make at home that have high protein, that are super healthy, and that you're absolutely going to enjoy because they taste incredible. You can start there. I'd love for you to have that recipe pack. Just start with that. And then afterwards, as I said, follow the 80-20 rule and try not to make the 80% of whole and minimally processed foods, going into your body boring. Make it fun. Make it enjoyable. Eat meals that you love to have, but improve them. Maybe instead of having, let's say, just pure white bread, have some wholemeal bread, because that adds fiber. And, that girl version of herself is regular, as we discussed already. Instead of, let's say, having 400 grams of pasta, just pure white pasta, how about swapping it out with lentil pasta? I know it doesn't taste the same, but if you add a high protein sauce next to it, you can easily create a meal out of it that has 40 grams of protein in it, easily, if not more, and also will keep you fuller for longer. And what the 80-20 is going to look like is going to be wildly different for every single person, okay? So make it your own, make it unique. You don't have to eat fully clean in order to see results. Clean eating is literally the easiest way to take all the joy out of your life. Sweets have a place in your diet. just pair them with protein. Make them, last longer in your system. Make sure that you are making it fun for yourself and that you're making it unique to you. You're elevating what you're already doing, slowly and steadily working on how you can be just a little bit better and how you can get just a little bit closer to that girl version of yourself. What are the habits that you need to focus on? Maybe if at the moment you're eating no vegetables at all, start with only 2 fist-sized portions of veggies per day. Literally just start with that. Hide it in your food. If you're a picky eater, focus on what you enjoy eating and slowly introduce things one step at a time. All that matters is that you're literally working through these mental blocks and you are mentally shifting into that girl version of yourself who is also then showing up with the habits when it comes to nutrition that you need in order to stay lean all year round, not just for summer. And I promise you that if you start right now, if you start focusing on your nutrition right now, start tracking your nutrition for 7 days without changing anything, and then establish a sustainable calorie deficit that you can stick to even while having meals out with having more protein, you are going to see changes like you've never seen before. Because these fast diets that you are already thinking about, and I know you're already thinking about what diet I'm going to do before summer hits. These restrictive diets literally are holding you back. Because you go down in weight, but then you gain more back. You go down in weight, you gain more back. And yes, it's fast results, but what you don't realize is that over time, it accumulates, and those little extra weight gains that you have afterwards and those binges, they accumulate. They are going to make you feel absolutely horrible in your skin. They're going to make you feel guilty about enjoying food and enjoying life. And that girl version of yourself enjoys life, all right? And over time, you are going to lose less body fat and get more fluffy and soft than if you just stuck to a sustainable calorie deficit for a little bit longer than 2 weeks, maybe more like 8 to 12 weeks. And I'm not saying that you have to be 100% perfect either. You can literally be only 80% consistent as long as you are in a calorie deficit, as long as you are focusing on just becoming a little bit better. And instead of spiraling down if you slip up or don't show up as your best self, you learn from that experience and you reflect and you're like, okay, how can I improve next time? How can I strategize a little bit better next time? Maybe how can I plan out my meals ahead a little bit easier so I actually have something in the fridge for myself to grab? I promise you, you are going to literally see results so fast, it is going to blow your mind. Because you do not need another diet. You need to eat in a way, and you need to start working on developing nutrition habits that are supporting the woman that you are becoming. You need to slowly and steadily close the gap between where you want to be and where you are right now, instead of just sticking to a restrictive diet that your future self would never even try and never even do, and then falling off track. The more gradual and the slower you can make this transition, the easier time you will have to stick to it, and the more balance you are going to develop. I can promise you this one thing, if nothing else. Make it gradual and slowly allow yourself, by practicing those eating habits, the 80-20 balance, sustainable calorie deficit, having more protein, having more vegetables, drinking more water. If you just slowly and gradually increase the efficiency and increase your consistency over time, you are naturally going to step into that version of yourself instead of forcing yourself to step into a version that you don't even want to become. Because that girl version of yourself is not starving. She is just consistently fueling her body and also has the right kind of balance. She is not going on diets all the time and then losing and gaining weight, losing, gaining, restricting and then overeating, restricting, overeating. She's not doing that. She is living in a way that supports herself. She is eating in a way that supports her goals at every stage of life, in every single season, not just temporarily, because she does not have time for BS. And I know that you don't either, because that version of yourself is already inside of you and you know it. So just to round things up a little bit, if you don't know where to start with eating more like that version of yourself, to help you tone up before summer. Start by tracking your food for 7 days without changing anything. Analyze it, see where you have room for improvement. Choose one aspect of it that you're going to improve, maybe maximum 2. Get into a calorie deficit that is sustainable for you, and make sure that you are consistent at least 80% of the time. You don't have to eat clean, you don't have to diet, you literally just have to elevate what you're already doing so that you can allow yourself to step into that girl version of yourself. And if you want to grab my high protein recipe pack because you might need a little bit of help with enjoyable meals that have a lot of protein, a lot of fiber, and that you're absolutely going to love, that fit your targets, that you're going to set for yourself, make sure that you DM me the word protein on Instagram and I will send it straight to you. And if you have made it this far, I just wanted to say you're, first of all, absolutely amazing. Second of all, super excited to be going on this journey with you. And third of all, I hope that you have the best, most wonderful week ahead. Cannot wait to see you next week for week 2 of Becoming That Girl. Next week, we're going to be talking about exercise. Super exciting, and how to actually tone up with your workouts. I love you so much, and I'll see you next week. Bye.